we have the right to live, but do we also have the right to die? If a person is terminally ill or in a lot of pain, shouldn't they have the right to be misery-free? If there's a person in a vegetative state that had a living will, shouldn't he or she be able to die according to their living will? Euthanasia is the intentional killing by act or omission of a dependent human being for his or her alleged benefit. Is there a legal right to die? Why shouldn't there be? We have a legal right to live, so why shouldn't we have a legal right to die? In the Compassion in Dying versus Washington case, the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals stated, while some people refer to the liberty interest implicated in right-to-die cases as a liberty interest in committing suicide, we do not describe it in that way. We use the broader and more accurate terms, the right to die, determining the time and manner of one's death and hastening one's death for an important reason. The liberty interest we examine encompasses a whole range of acts that are generally not considered to constitute suicide. Included within the liberty interest we examine is, for example, the act of refusing or terminating unwanted medical treatment. Casey and Cruzen provide persuasive evidence that the Constitution encompasses a due process liberty interest in controlling the time and manner of one's death, that there is, in short, a constitutionally recognized right to die. According to Rita Marker, Executive Director of Internal Task Force of Euthanasia and Assisted Suicide, states that activists often claim that laws against euthanasia and assisted suicide are government-mandated suffering. But this claim would be similar to saying that laws against selling contaminated food are government-mandated starvation. How are these two topics the same? That would be like comparing apples and oranges. You are not going to get very far. You are trying to tell a person to live with this terminal pain when there's nothing a doctor can do to help him or her. Put yourself in that person's shoes. Wouldn't you like to be able to make the decision to take that pain away permanently? And how would your family members feel coming in and seeing you like that all the time, knowing you're never going to get better? My mother had a brain aneurysm a little over a year ago, and she was in a coma. I'm here to tell you firsthand that that is the worst sight ever. Seeing a person you love, a family member, hooked up to life support and not able to hear, respond, or do anything on their own. Thinking to myself, what if she never comes out of it? What am I going to do? It was heartbreaking hearing the nurses say she will not come out of it, wondering if I was going to have to make a decision to pull the plug. After seeing that, I could never imagine my kids coming in to visit me like that, nor would I never want them to see me like that. If there was only a sliver of hope for me pulling out of it, I would want them to end my suffering along with theirs, either by physician-assisted suicide or some other form. On December 5th, 2008, Montana District Judge Dorothy MacArthur ruled in the case of Baxter v. State of Montana that Montana residents have the legal right to physician-assisted suicide. The judge's ruling stated that Montana's constitutional right of individual privacy and human dignity taken together encompasses the right of a competent, terminally patient to die with dignity. That is to say, the patient may use the assistance of the physician to obtain a prescription for a lethal dose of medicine that the patient may take on his own, if and when he decides to terminate his life. The Attorney General of Montana appealed the ruling of Judge MacArthur to the Montana Supreme Court in December 31st, 2009. Opinion order, the Montana Supreme Court affirmed 4-3 that physician-assisted suicide is not against public policy in the state of Montana. The court further ruled that state law protects doctors in Montana from prosecution for helping terminally ill patients die. The court declined to rule on a larger state constitutional question of whether physician-assisted suicide is a right guaranteed under Montana's Constitution. I have to agree with Dorothy MacArthur. Allowing the patients to die with dignity would be one of the greatest things to come around. Why make them suffer through life on a day-to-day basis, wondering if they're going to make it or not? Wouldn't you like to just put yourself out of that misery and put your family out of the misery and wondering and the long-term medical bills that are going to be piling up the longer they stay there? Euthanasia should not only be legal in all the states, but it should also be a constitutional right. Whether it is physician-assisted or written in a living will, each person deserves to live and die as they wish. All I'm asking of you is to simply visualize yourself in the positions of many who are terminally ill or who are in terminally pain, they can't do anything about it, there's nothing that can help them. And ask yourself, what would you prefer? To live in misery for however long that may be, or end your suffering when you please? Thank you very much.